This is my fault.
Cobra Kai has officially wrapped up after 6 seasons. The first episode of Part 3 continued following the aftermath of Kwon's death during the Sekai Taikai tournament in the climactic episode of Season 6 Part 2.
Sekai to Kai.
We soon learned that after Terry Silver's resolution of resuming the tournament succeed, the competition was brought back to a familiar territory, the All Valley, where Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence clashed in 1984. Only this time, they were no longer rivals, but allies. With intense showdowns, resolutions for long-standing character arcs, and deeply emotional sequences woven throughout, let's dive into the last chapter of Season 6 of our beloved series. This is Cobra Kai Part 3's ending explained. If you are watching this video, I expect you have finished watching the show, otherwise you'll be spoiled since the video is packed with spoilers. When it comes to how the show wrapped up, all of the main characters were granted a fulfilling conclusion. After Robbie suffered a loss to Axel, the lead male combatant representing the Iron Dragons, due to Axel deliberately shattering his leg, and Sam accepting that she no longer wished to fight, Miyagi-Do had no choice but to withdraw from the tournament. However, with this being the show's grand finale, Johnny Lawrence resurrected Cobra Kai, allowing Miguel to step into the final match. This meant that both Miguel and Tori were now fighting under Cobra Kai's banner. LaRusso did object to this shift, particularly after a vision he experienced, one where he battled skeleton figures in a callback to the original Karate Kid film. Within that vision, Mr. Miyagi appeared to him and reminded him that winning and losing were not what truly mattered. This moment of clarity struck LaRusso while he was overwhelmed by the fear of defeat. Meanwhile, Tori and Zara had an intense rivalry carried over from the previous segment of the season. Zara gained the upper hand in the first round, but after Robbie expressed his love for Tori and urged her to show no mercy, one of Cobra Kai's fundamental principles, she went on to overpower Zara, knocking out one of her teeth in the process. This moment earned her the nickname, the Tooth Fairy, which fans eagerly embraced in the season's closing moments. As for the male championship match, Axel had been trained by Sensei Wolf to be a ruthless bone breaker, using unethical methods as evidenced in his fight with Robbie. However, against Miguel, Axel hesitated to carry out Silver and Wolf's orders, to target Miguel's vulnerable spine, which had been previously injured. This hesitation ultimately cost Axel the match, allowing Miguel to claim victory over a seemingly unbeatable opponent. Recognizing the toxicity of Wolf's teachings, Axel chose to sever ties with the Iron Dragons entirely. With the overall score now tied, the final decider came down to the senseis themselves, Johnny Lawrence and Sensei Wolf. The duel would be determined by the first to land 3 points, with the victorious dojo being crowned the champions of the tournament. For Johnny, this fight symbolized redemption. Reflecting on his struggles since 2017, he acknowledged that his loss in 1984 had sent his life spiraling downward. That single defeat had left him feeling like a failure and cost him relationships that once mattered to him. At his mother's grave, he once lamented that second chances weren't real. But this battle, in the same arena and for the same dojo, was his shot at rewriting history. While Johnny had always excelled in offensive fighting, training under LaRusso introduced a new dynamic. LaRusso aimed to incorporate the philosophy of Miyagi-Do into Johnny's combat style, helping him strike a balance between attack and defense, something Johnny had lacked in 1984, which led to his downfall against LaRusso's infamous crane kick. During the second round, LaRusso fully embraced Cobra Kai's mindset, offering Johnny a motivational speech that allowed him to regain 2 points. But in the decisive round, LaRusso reminded Johnny about defense, balance, and not aggressively seeking the final strike. This strategy aligns with the title of a previous episode, Strike Last, a direct contrast to Cobra Kai's mantra of strike first. Johnny baited Wolf into stepping toward him, creating the perfect opening to counter. With that final blow, Johnny secured victory, not just for himself, but for his students and the future of Cobra Kai. This moment symbolized both personal redemption and the realization that Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do could coexist in harmony, combining their strengths for the best results. Following this triumph, Johnny and Carmen moved into their new home, leaving behind the apartment he never wanted to live in with his family. He also continued training new students at the Cobra Kai dojo, which saw a surge in enrollments following their worldwide broadcasted victory. We learned that Anthony, Devon, and Kenny are still in the dojo training to be the champions of the next generation. Meanwhile, Robbie and Tori remained a couple and were both scouted by an agency offering them career paths as professional fighters, aligning with their long-held aspirations. Miguel was set to attend Stanford, but planned to spend time in Okinawa with Sam, who was studying in Japan. Hawk and Dimitri were both heading to Caltech, and Chosen pursued a romantic relationship with the woman he deeply cared for, Kim Da-eun. Kim, like Kreese, underwent a journey of self-discovery. After realizing the damage her grandfather's harsh philosophy had inflicted on fighters, she ultimately took a different path. This transformation was cemented when she killed her grandfather, Master Kim, and embraced a new, healthier approach to training evidenced in the final episode. The show's final scene was both amusing and meaningful, LaRusso attempting to catch a fly with chopsticks, a nostalgic nod to his training under Mr. Miyagi. However, Johnny casually swatted it with his bare hands upon returning to the table. This moment subtly symbolized their dynamic, two individuals with vastly different methods, yet now bound together for the long haul as business partners, friends, and mentors to a new wave of students. One of the major focal points in this part of the season was John Kreese. Following Kwon's tragic death, Kreese was plagued with guilt and regret. This realization pushed him to step away from Cobra Kai and seek redemption, attempting to mend relationships he had damaged, including his bond with Tori, and more significantly, Johnny. In episode 13, Kreese visited Tori, apologizing for his past mistakes and revealing that he had signed her off as the sole remaining Cobra Kai competitor, ensuring she had a fair shot at victory. His journey toward reconciliation reached a powerful moment in the very parking lot where he had once dismissed Johnny after his defeat in 1984, a decision that had haunted both of them for decades. However, the most emotional scene came later in the episode, in which Johnny and Kreese met in the arena, confronting their past and ended up hugging tightly. But Kreese's redemption arc didn't end there. When Terry Silver targeted Johnny and his family, Kreese took drastic action to stop him, at great personal cost. Infiltrating Silver's yacht, he eliminated Dennis de Guzman before confronting Silver himself. Fully aware that he would always be perceived as the villain, Kreese accepted his fate, ensuring that Silver would not have the final word. In a final symbolic act, Kreese set the yacht ablaze, destroying both himself and Silver, an ending that underscored the self-destructive nature of Cobra Kai. While the conclusion of Cobra Kai was satisfying overall, Kreese and Silver's abrupt death felt somewhat rushed, especially since the next episode failed to acknowledge their passing. Given their significance in the franchise, it would have been fitting to see reactions from key characters like Johnny and Daniel. However, Johnny reclaiming Cobra Kai and getting his long-awaited victory was the perfect way to close his arc. The show started with him, and it ended with his redemption. With Cobra Kai officially over, the Karate Kid legacy continues, as a new movie is just around the corner. Here's hoping the franchise keeps delivering compelling stories. Thanks for watching, drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.